Welcome to the Viking Age podcast, the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Chris Schad. I write for Fansided and ZoneCoverage.com. He is Adam Patrick, lead NFL editor for Fansided, and we do this right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're also in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day, but however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode and we can spread the word to the masses. Quick little notes. Keep it clean in the comments. This is a dysfunctional family show, but let's just, little decorum compared to last week, please.
Everyone was excited.
Everyone was excited, maybe a little too excited. But that being said, we have breaking news on the show right now. Minnesota Vikings, big signing. They got him. Rondell Moore is a Minnesota Viking. Pew, 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 pew. Shots. Your thoughts?
I don't call him a big sign. He's only 5'7".
Come on. Huge.
No, but I think this is the guy the Vikings probably want to be their third receiver, or at least battle with Jalen Naylor for that role. I was talking to you right before we recorded. That he's just basically a younger Brandon Powell. He's 24, and he was second round pick by the Cardinals out of Purdue in 2021. He's kind of he's super fast, a speedy little gadget guy. He's got 52 rushing attempts in his career in 3 seasons with the Cardinals. So he can be used in a lot of different ways, and I'm sure Kevin O'Connell will have some fun with him. And also, he's just a solid punt returner. He returned, I think, like 20 punts as a rookie, and had like over 8 yards per return. But he hasn't returned punts the last 3 seasons. Last year, he was out for the year with a knee injury. He got traded to the Falcons for Desmond Ridder. Great trade there. Worked out for both teams. And he didn't play last year, but I don't think there was too many details about his knee injury. It was just regarded as serious. He suffered in joint practices with, I think, the Dolphins, and he just didn't play. But he met with the Vikings, earlier Monday?
Yeah.
And then
they put out a tweet for it now. So.
Yeah. And he met with the Vikings, Bears, Titans, and Jets, I think. And then it seems like clearly the Vikings presented him probably with the best offer, money-wise or playing time-wise, and he was just like, all right, we're coming back. So Vikings got their guy. They got him. Hopefully this doesn't count against the compensatory pick formula, but I don't think they signed him for too much. So, it's a good signing. It's solid, I would say that. It's not – you're not going to have like a montage video or whatever like, who going to well, I know you never know these days with the who going to stop him graphic, but
there's one coming for the Vikings. I've already seen them out there. Like,
oh boy,
who going to stop them
with McCarthy on him?
Yeah,
but no, it's a solid signing and another plus in the Kwesi category for him to get an extension. I feel like.
Is it who going to stop them season, or is it who says no season?
Right.
Like,
the trades.
Yeah, people just put like the worst trade possible out, like Justin Jefferson for Ladd McConkey and 7th round pick. Who says no? Everybody. But
they got the Justin Herbert stuff now, right, for the Vikings?
Yeah, now that's a thing.
Because God forbid we can't just focus on one quarterback. We have to think about everyone else.
Who's going to be our next quarterback after JJ McCarthy? What if JJ McCarthy is a home? Who are we taking in the 2045 draft, Adam? We're going to talk about that right now. Raul Rules, thank you for commenting and keeping it clean, by the way. Should become our new punt returner and gadget wide receiver 3. I don't know about wide receiver 3, honestly. They need a blocker.
He should be probably, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his
they've also been
are.
talking to Tyler Lockett. There's other people that are.
He's going to the Raiders, though. He's going with Pete Carroll.
Yeah, that makes it. Seahawks, I guess it'd be south, not west. West would be like Japan. from Seattle.
Seahawks used to be in the AFC West. So.
They did. Yeah. With the old
Broncos.
Blue and the old school Timberwolves colors before they were
the royal blue and green and silver.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
The Kingdom.
Raul Rules makes another good point. He says, seems like our reputation in the league is paying dividends when it comes to players deciding between teams. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the NFLPA report card. I mean, the Vikings got almost straight A's again. What did the nutritionist get a B+ or something? So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that can sway. I mean, Rondell Moore came from one of the worst organizations. The Arizona Cardinals drafted
feel
him.
like a
so
king in Minnesota.
He's probably like, holy shit, are you this
cereal
yeah,
is
we
free?
Breakfast here. I could get Lucky Charms for free. What is this place?
I can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
This is crazy. You know what else is crazy? This whole Aaron Rodgers stuff, because it is finally over. Let's go back. Let's rewind it. Some of you obviously have been following the Vikings, but we're going to run it all the way back to Saturday because we were on here Thursday night. We yelled, we screamed, we had a good time. The Athletics, Deanna Rossini, Michael Silver, and Alec Lewis came out with a report on Saturday, basically stating Aaron Rodgers wants to play in Minnesota. He's waiting on Kevin O'Connell to make a decision, and he could just retire if he doesn't get what he wants. I could just go away forever.
Cool.
He's not going away. His ego won't let him. We spent the first 2 days of the week being like, well, he could, maybe he couldn't, maybe, but this wide receiver 3 situation, I don't know, that sort of thing. And then NFL Network's Tom Pelissero came on and he's like, yeah, the Vikings are not pursuing Rodgers at this time. They have turned down multiple trade offers for JJ McCarthy, and they are moving forward with JJ McCarthy. And like Diana Rossini in my movie concept, Jason Statham takes a dump. It's actually pretty cool. It's where beginning of the movie, Jason Statham, he's like, man, I got to take a dump. And then like all these henchmen come between him and the bathroom and he kicks their ass. And then he finally gets in the bathroom and he sits down. And he's like, wait a minute. And then there's somebody in the toilet and he has to fight the dude in the toilet in order to finish. So anyway, Diana Rossini is basically in the toilet saying, no, Rodgers wants to play for the Vikings. And they have not said yes or no. The spring is really important for JJ McCarthy. They understand he could sign somewhere else, and Man Bear Pig is real. So if you're following, what is that?
It's Diana Rossini backpedaling.
Do we have copyright for that? The beeping sound. In the end, I think multiple things were true. Rodgers wanted to play for the Vikings. Makes sense. The Vikings thought about it because why wouldn't you? And ultimately they said, we got this top 10 quarterback waiting in the wings. So why don't we give the kid a shot? Yeah. So all I wanted was the kid to have a chance when healthy. So yeah. JJ McCarthy, QB1.
Wow,
Let's go, right?
Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah.
Besides everybody.
But they're still watching Aaron Rodgers. Make sure we get that in there.
Yeah. Well, they're still watching Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. What if they become available? Then then they'll be in. Yeah, it's over. I think that this was good for the Vikings, especially because they had I think they had some of their free agents talk today to the media. They probably didn't want this cloud hanging over all that and them getting questions about stuff that they weren't going to have answers for. But yeah, I did enjoy the Pelissero kind of like shutting the door and putting his foot down on those other reports, saying it was never, the Vikings were never strongly interested in Aaron Rodgers. It was never a 50-50 thing, like will they or won't they sign him? It was always more of a due diligence thing. Kevin O'Connell is friends with Aaron Rodgers. They're known to just check in on players. We heard about the Justin Herbert thing over the summer. There was even a Deshaun Watson whisper before I believe he got traded to the Browns. This is what they do. They just check in on guys, and it means most of the time it means nothing. And a lot of times this a lot of teams do this. Like this isn't like out of the norms, but because of Rodgers, of who he is and the path that he has taken going from the Packers to the Jets, like Brett Favre did, everyone's like, oh, he goes to the Vikings, connects the dots and everything, and he's gonna be the key to the Super Bowl. And it's like, have you watched him play the last 3 years? He's not good. Like, I think it's Chase Daniel who has been going on FS1 and on the podcast with Rossini, like, Vikings are making a mistake by not signing Rodgers, and it's like, no, they're not. Like his own teammate James Jones was sitting next to Chase Daniel. I think it was on like their show, The Facility or whatever, and he's like, no, they shouldn't bring Rodgers in. He's like, I love Aaron Rodgers, but they just drafted a quarterback number 10 for a reason. They like him. And Chase Daniel keeps referring to McCarthy as a rookie. And it's like, I guess in the playing time sense, yes, but a rookie doesn't get a whole year to sit in the NFL meeting room, to work with, at NFL facilities, be on the sidelines, work with the head coach for a whole year, and then get to play. No. A rookie is like Jane Daniels, just go out there and do whatever, figure it out. Or Caleb Williams, have like 3 or 4 offensive coordinators and figure that out, and run for your life from offensive line. So I wouldn't classify McCarthy as a rookie this year. Yes, it's his first playing time season or whatever, but he's I would put him above whatever rookies are coming in this year, especially this year. But it's just good for it to be over now. I'm sure in June, in July, if Rodgers is still a free agent, we're going to get – I already saw stuff, Florio writing today, like what if there's questions about McCarthy and OTAs and minicamp? Like, are the Vikings going to reconsider in the summer? I'm sure someone will get a sprinkling, and we'll have Michael Silver and Rossini back in this. Like, oh, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it still. They're considering it. And it's like, all right, whatever. I understand like the need to get stories and stuff and attention every day because it's part of our job as well. But you also want to report the truth, which is why I respect people like Tom Pelissero and Rappaport and even Adam Schefter being like, is it possible? Sure. Is anything possible? Sure. Is it likely? Fuck no. They didn't say that, but they basically did with their reporting. So it's done. It's over. McCarthy's QB1. Who will be QB2? We don't know. Pelissero also said they offered Daniel Jones more money than the Colts did to sign, but he went to the Colts because he felt he had a better chance to play for the Colts than he did with the Vikings. So that should tell you right there what the Vikings think of JJ McCarthy. But there's still some QB2 guys out there, and I've heard they might be waiting for, I don't know, some compensatory pick stuff to not screw that up either. So we'll see what happens.
Before I get to, because I have a list here of backup quarterbacks. I just want to ask a simple question. Why is it like this happens with the Vikings? Maybe I just don't pay attention enough to other teams, but it always seems like the drama is like turned up to 11 with whatever the Vikings do. Like if they make, Justin Jefferson needs a contract. Oh my God, they're going to trade Justin Jefferson and top 5 trade destination Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb needs a contract extension. It's like, Jerry's going to get that done.
Danielle Hunter just got an extension while we're recording. He got like 1 year, $35 million extension. So
I legit just wrote something about that this afternoon.
He just got it.
Because they're like, there's one more move the Texans need to make. Well, they made it. So
there you go.
Hey, whatever. The RBN Network.
Hey, you got it published before it happened. So
Schad Radamas, although I can't really take credit. That was a team. That was a team brainstorm. Anyway.
Well, they had to do that, after they spent all their money signing Cam Robinson and trading for Ed Ingram. They just, had to figure something out.
Vikings South? Are they the new Seahawks? Because it used to be everybody used to go from the Vikings.
Kind of. Case Keenum's a free agent and Stephon Diggs too, so those guys are gone. But they used to have a good amount of Vikings players down there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, it just feels like anytime there's some kind of question with the Vikings, it's always, they're going to trade him. There's no way they can keep this is MLB or something where like you have Juan Soto on the Twins. And you're like, well, they're not going to pay him $800 million. Like there's a salary cap. There's all this stuff. I mean, teams start second year quarterbacks who have sat. Yeah, not everybody is Jordan Love who sits 3 or 4 years behind Aaron Rodgers because he was playing at an MVP level.
And those teams have a good track record too. Like the quarterbacks that have first round picks that have sat for at least most of their rookie season, it turned out pretty well.
And the thing is, if JJ McCarthy fails,
oh well.
2026 draft is going to be so much fun because we're going to be like, trade up for Arch Manning, trade up for Nico Iamaleava,
and
trade
also,
up for whoever.
If they fail, who cares? The Vikings have failed to win a Super Bowl their entire existence. So, like, what's not going to be any different? But
sometimes we just need to realize this is all house money in the end. Like,
one team wins the Super Bowl every year. The expectations, I know a lot of teams' fan bases have the expectation that their team can win the Super Bowl. But, like, sometimes you have a better chance of winning the lottery than your team does of winning the Super Bowl. So I think if people just take the approach of, like, our team had a good season, like the Vikings won 14 games, would have been better if they even were competitive in that playoff game. Yes, it would have. But, like, I feel like they still had a good season. So if the Vikings don't win the Super Bowl next year, I'm not going to be, bummed out.
So the next item of business, Vikings need a veteran quarterback. You said it might take a while because they want the comp pick stuff to iron out. I got a list here, and I'll run through them. I mean, just quick, tell me what I don't know here, but I mean, these are the options that have been tossed out, and these are mainly.
Let me just give you a yes or a no if I want them on the Vikings.
Sure. Why don't we just do it that way? The first one, Joe Flacco. Or as you once said, Joe Flacco.
Yes.
Epic Kirk Cousins rant on this show. So Joe Flacco, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but I think he wants to start somewhere. I don't think he's that's why he didn't play last year, because he wanted to still start. But I don't know. Maybe if he just wants money, because I feel like he would probably want to go somewhere like the Browns, where he would be able to have a better chance of starting.
I think the Browns would actually like start a guy who's just been sitting around for
They did with Flacco.
Yeah, I suppose he was on his couch until like October.
Right.
But yeah, Flacco would be cool with me. Tannehill, I don't know. He's also like anti like mentoring. So like,
I think Flacco and O'Connell were drafted the same year, so that would be funny.
Yeah. Carson Wentz.
No.
No, but once upon a time, I pounded the drum that Carson Wentz was going to be a Minnesota Viking. Yep. So if he did sign, I would find some.
That's someone though that kind of fits the bill though of like a reclamation project for Kevin O'Connell.
Sure.
Like former first round pick.
30. He's like Garrett Bradbury. That he was 24 when he came into the league. I think. Let me see here. Carson Wentz's age.
2017.
He's 32.
2017.
Wow.
Before he got hurt, he was playing at MVP level.
Yeah. His 2017 season was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll give him that. I can't believe he's 32. God, I'm old.
I just want to know like why everyone hates him at every team he goes to. I just want is he what? Because I feel like
is he the Alex Verdugo of,
like Kevin O'Connell?
NFL?
It's probably really hard for Kevin O'Connell to like dislike somebody. I feel like, but maybe Carson Wentz can be that guy. I don't think
he gave Aaron Rodgers a full week of right. We can talk about this. Well, allegedly. He's like, what do you think? Why are we doing this? Well, you know how I feel about. Maybe that's what it was. Kevin O'Connell just gave a full one answer, but it was a full week of just dialogue. You could bring in Aaron Rodgers,
1 word a day,
not bring out Aaron Rodgers. You could start JJ McCarthy. It was a filibuster. It's like how the Wild play hockey these days.
I think it was
hold on to the puck and don't shoot.
I think after that athletic report came out, there were some calls that were made like, all right, we need to just nip this in the bud. Enough.
Jameis Winston. You want him on the Vikes?
Yes, I do, actually. As a person who covers the Vikings, yes, I would love to have Jameis Winston on the Vikings.
All of the clicks.
All the stuff he's done off the field that isn't that great. I feel like every team he goes to, his teammates love him. So,
yeah.
And he's very entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I also think, he hasn't gotten in trouble for a while. So
no, that was college stuff.
Yeah. That was,
I think
so. I'd be okay with it as long as if he never came into a game, but he was just the backup. Like that'd be super fun because you get content, you get all that
And he was a former first round pick, so he can like tell JJ or whatever, like, you know, these are expectations and stuff. And he's been in the league for a while, so and then he's been in a bunch of different offenses, and he's seen a lot of defenses, so he's got more than just like his on-field stuff. And he got LASIK, I think, soon, so he can actually see. So it's good.
And he teach JJ to eat that W so he could gain some weight.
Hey, apparently he's back up to 207. That's what
he's back up to 2. He miraculously put it back on.
Amazing how he could do that when his job is to be in shape. It's weird how that happens.
Steaks and weights, baby. Drew Lock. What do you think of Drew Lock?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with him.
There's one account that'd be very happy with
yeah,
that.
Yeah. I enjoyed, what was it? Was it last year? 2 years ago when he had like that clutch Seahawks performance or whatever. Who was it against? It was like he threw like a game-winning touchdown, I think.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember who it was against.
Probably against the Rams or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fine. Yeah, I've never disliked him. But
like
I never thought he was amazing.
The thing with all these guys is like, if they're
aside
on the
from
team,
Wentz?
aside from Wentz, if they're on the team, fine.
Yeah.
Like I hope we never have to use any of these guys in the start, but I don't know. Is there a wild card option you might be?
You didn't mention Trey Lance.
I did not.
You know,
I actually took the names from a Bring Me the News article from Will Regetz. So
Trey Lance is still out there, and we know the Vikings have pursued him.
I was so high on Trey Lance coming out of the draft.
We know Kevin O'Connell likes it when people are counted out.
Yeah, that'd be the ultimate. But
he's from Minnesota.
That would be another guy that if he got into a game, I'd be like, yeah, we're screwed. But
yeah,
he could maybe steal you a game just because he can run. Like sometimes you just go Madden 04 mode, and
he's someone you could potentially use in, I don't know, a goal line package to switch things up a little bit. Like I could see Kevin O'Connell want to do something like that where he gets creative, because in the red zone, rushing touchdown wise, the Vikings have not been good under Kevin O'Connell. So I feel like this offseason that's gonna be a big priority, and obviously with their offensive line additions and trading for who'd they trade for from the 49ers? Who'd they just get?
Jordan Mason.
Thank you.
We'll talk about it later.
I want to say Justin all the time, but it's Jordan. But yeah, they're emphasizing running the ball, short yardage, and red zone situation. I feel like no. Yeah, that's really bad.
Any other wild card options?
There's been mention that they want to trade for somebody, so I don't know, like Aiden O'Connell, Sam Howell,
Anthony Richardson.
No, too early. That would cost.
I don't
feel like that would cost too much.
Yeah, and I don't feel like Indianapolis would. I mean, even though
he would have to have a terrible offseason.
Pat McAfee wants him dead, but
he does.
Yeah,
he doesn't run the Colts because
him and Jim Irsay would just take Anthony Richardson and like drop him off at the steps of TCO. But get out of here, you bum! He's foaming at the mouth, and Kevin O'Connell's like, "It's not your fault."
And it's not your fault. I feel like it's all because he admitted that he asked out of the game because he was tired. If he just was like, "Oh, I got the wind knocked out of me" or whatever, I don't think any of this would be an issue. But because of that,
he probably had the wind knocked out of him. He just used a poor choice of words.
Yeah.
But also not completing 50% of your passes. That's also a way to get some competition.
He's working. I think he's working with the Josh Allen dude though. This summer, helped Josh Allen fix his accuracy issues. So we'll see.
Correct. Production meeting. Should I keep our sponsors happy, or should I go on to the next topic? You think? Oh
yeah, someone mentioned in the comments John Wolford, who I think worked with Kevin O'Connell with the Rams. That's a boring backup that the Vikings would sign, but they already have someone like that in Brett Rippon. I feel like
you would just promote Brett Rippon if you wanted.
Yeah, unless Wolford is like amazing in the meeting room, or I don't think so. I feel like they'd want someone who has more upside on the field. So who knows? Yeah. What's Underdog got going on lately?
Well, if you want to win up to 1,000 times your money,
I do.
Yes, you can do it at Underdog. To play, you just choose whether a player will go higher or lower on their stats, such as points, assists, rebounds, and more. They've got all of your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. And best of all, they got March Madness games. So when my bracket hits the dust, I'm headed over to Underdog. I can make an entry with all my favorite higher and lower picks. Even if you are not a college basketball guy, or you're just not into March Madness this year, you can go and make some entries on hockey, basketball, even baseball, like I do most days in the summer. You can do all of it at Underdog. Go download the Underdog app. Sign up with the promo code The Age. You see it on the screen. It's all one word, and you unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with the promo code The Age, all one word, and you can claim your special offer today and up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. You must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. If you are concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. And in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. I didn't pull a Jey Uso and botch that this week. Just poor Jay didn't beat the allegations on that.
Listen, we've seen him jump over the ropes many a times, so I will give him a pass.
It's the people in their parents' basement screaming, "Bring the
That's gonna be your champion.
It's gonna be it.
This guy.
This is a bald fraud."
More former Vikings news. Stefon Diggs is reportedly visiting with the Patriots.
Okay, that's an interesting.
He saw Garrett Bradbury go there. He was like, "Oh, I gotta link up with my guy Garrett."
There's no wind in New England.
Although they were only teammates for might not sweat. A year, I think, because Bradbury was rookie 2019.
2019, yeah,
Diggs
because
left after that.
Yeah, so you better not push him too far, or else he'll go flying. Let's talk about the Lions. Shall we? Because they decided to do something that could help the Vikings. The NFL owners' meetings are in 2 weeks, and teams can propose a rule with 75% approval needed to make the change. So the Packers, they want the tush push ban because they got their ass kicked by it in the playoffs, and nobody else in the league can do it except for the Eagles. So, don't ban it. Like, if a team can
figure it out. Why is everyone else getting stopped, but not the Eagles?
Because teams are using Brandon Powell to push the quarterback.
Or Josh Allen's going to the left every time instead of just straight up the middle.
Well, the Lions had some ideas too. And they want automatic first downs to be eliminated on defensive holding and illegal contact. Because they put all of the other receivers in an arm bar. So that's a big nope ski. They want players placed on IR before cut down date to not count against the team's 90-man roster limit. Sounds like a team who had 13 defensive players on IR last year. And then here's the weird one. They want wild card teams to have a higher seed if their record is better than a divisional champion. The Lions, of course, were 15-2 last season and were the number one seed in the NFC playoffs. Lost to the Commanders, but they had to earn it in the final game of the regular season. The Vikings lost. They were 14-3, but the number 5 seed because of the NFL's rules, and they had to win 3 playoff games to win the Super Bowl. Of course, they didn't win any of them, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. So why would the Lions make a rule change like this?
Probably to avoid what happened. They probably just think the NFC North is going to be really good again. And if they finish second and they win 14 games or 13 games next year, they don't want to be the 5 seed. Whether it's the Vikings, Bears, or Packers, which I feel like, the Bears have improved a lot this offseason. So who knows? And they got a new head coach, so maybe they should be better than they were last year. But it is convenient that like the Vikings making all these additions this offseason, and seemingly getting better in the trenches at least. That the Lions are like, let's make sure we can still be a top seed if we finish behind the Vikings, because if they lost to the Vikings in Week 18 last year, they would have been the 5 seed, so it would have been flipped around. So it's I don't know how they would do it, because I think someone was like, then what would be the point of winning your division? But I was like, but you would still want to win like a lot of games, so because that would be the only time where this would be a factor. But yeah, I just thought the defensive holding and illegal contact were hilarious, because the Lions, I think they led the league in both of those categories. So
it's worth a shot, guys.
Maybe figure out how not to do
that. It's worth a shot. The whole division thing. I mean, division should just be automatic playoff spot. So, like, if you're a 8-9 division champion, get the 7 seed.
You shouldn't get a home game.
Correct.
Like automatically.
Right. Which I don't know. That might. I mean, I know the NBA, like, divisions don't matter at all in the NBA. No. NHL divisions matter a little too much, because Colorado and Dallas are probably two of the best teams in the Western Conference, but they're going to play in the first round.
Baseball not as much as it used to, right?
Divisions matter. So all 3 are the top 3 seeds.
Right.
But the top 2 division winners get a bye.
Right.
And then 3 plays 6 and 4 plays 5 in a wild card series. Yeah. So it matters, but it also I feel like in baseball, divisions should matter when you play a team 162 games.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like in the NFL though, like, divisions are becoming less and less like important. Like, the rivalries are still there, but like going like you have 6 games in your division, but then you still have 11 games against all the other teams. So it's like, where it used to be 16 games, that was almost half your schedule. Like, used to have 5 teams in a division. So you would play half your schedule would be against a division, and right. that mattered. But now, like, and they're probably going to add an 18th game, so it's going to matter even less. It's just, it'll be interesting to see what they do if maybe they'll, I don't know, combine some divisions to make them matter more, because I feel like they're getting less and less important. The rivalry is still there, but the overall results don't matter as much as they used to.
You know why I think the Lions made this proposal?
They're scared.
Because they're scared. I think the Vikings just loaded up in free agency, and what if JJ McCarthy is that dude? And the Packers were 11-6 last year. I mean, it's not inconceivable to see them take a jump forward. The Bears have Ben Johnson.
They have a last place schedule, though.
And the last place schedule. Yep, you're right. So, I mean, they have that. And the thing is, the Lions are smarter than they actually look. Like, you look at Dan Campbell and you think, like, Master of Puppets is just playing at all time like a eternal solo. It's like, yeah, man, just go 4th down. Yeah. I mean, the NFC North is strong this year, and the Vikings had won that game, and a wild card team did not win. The Lions would have had to play the Vikings in the second round of the play. The Lions would have had to play the Vikings in the second round of the playoffs if the Commanders didn't win anyway. It just would have been at Ford Field. So I think that goes into it too. I feel like it would be the right move, because, I mean, the NFL, I know they love like the Beastquake and everything, and they also love, the
Giants.
Week 18 big spotlight, and they just see, the number 1
Every
seed
game
on the
matters,
line. Yeah, and the game sucked. So there was that. I mean, yeah. I mean,
wasn't it billed like to be the biggest game in NFL history or whatever last year?
Yeah,
the number 1 seed.
And then they both lost their first playoff game.
Yeah. It's a long season.
Quite incredible. From the weekend, the Vikings made a trade. They acquired running back Jordan Mason from the San Francisco 49ers. The Vikings gave up a 2026 6th-round pick and a 5th-round pick swap with was it 5th or 6th round? I have 5th written down.
The Niners got the Vikings 5th, and the Vikings took the Niners 6th this year.
Okay. So I'm kind of right.
It was a pick swap, but it wasn't like same round
for round. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So they swapped picks on day 3. Mason
like
ran
30
for
spots.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. So they dropped down a full round. Mason ran for 789 yards and 3 touchdowns with the 49ers last season in relief of Christian McCaffrey. He also ran for 3.35 yards after contact, which was 10th among qualifiers last year, and had more missed tackles than Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, and Brian Robinson, who were all starters, or Robinson, sorry, who were all starters last year. And Jonathan Taylor had like 350 carries. So that's quite impressive. What do you think? Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason in the backfield in 2025.
I think it's a move that the Vikings had to make. They needed to get a more physical back in their backfield who they could depend on in short yardage situations, in red zone situations. I looked it up like right after the Vikings made the trade. And on plays with 1 or 3 yards needed to gain a first down last season, Aaron Jones and the Vikings averaged 2.9 yards per carry, where Jordan Mason averaged 5.3 yards per carry. So he's much better, much more of a bruiser type runner. Like you said, with the missed tackles, people are like, "Oh, it's the Niners scheme or whatever." It's like, yeah, but he was still in the open field and like stiff arming people like out of the way. So he's a physical runner. I think it's good. People are wondering why the Vikings did it in a year where the running back draft class is viewed as pretty deep. It is on paper, but sometimes you just don't know. And this guy's been in the NFL for 3 seasons already. He's already in NFL shape. He knows what it takes to like get to that level. He's not spending his offseason training for pre-draft drills so he can get his draft stock higher. He's just in the weight room, getting big and beefy, ready to run behind Will Fries and Ryan Kelly and Blake Brandel, who I saw in a graphic. It was like all these like accolades for everybody on the new Vikings offensive line, and for Brandel it was just like 6'5", 310. Like just his measurements. So
wait until we get Tyler Booker in the first round, baby.
So, and then I think this is a good move for the Vikings. It's low risk too because they didn't really give up that much. They're paying him $5 million, $6 million this year. Mm-hmm. But they're not like they can go into the draft. One, I think this means they're going to trade back in the first round unless there's someone who falls right into their lap, which I don't think will probably happen. But we don't really know. But I think they're going to trade back, and it also gives them the flexibility to not feel like, oh shoot, like we're in the second round, we don't have another pick until late in the third round. We got to get this running back now because we need another running back. No, they're good. They've got Aaron Jones, they've got Jordan Mason now, and they could still add. Like we've talked, they could still add someone in the draft or UDFA or whatever. Like if they want to bring someone in that backfield, because Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, one of them is probably going to be gone next year. So they still got to think about that. But I think it's really good. It goes along with the theme that the Vikings are trying to have this offseason of just getting more physical, meaner, tougher in the trenches. Like they want to run people over now this year. They don't just want to, throw the ball over your head. They're still going to do that because they have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, but they want to run through people because that's what the Eagles did to win the Super Bowl, and NFL's copycat league. So that's what they're going to try and do now.
The 2025 Minnesota Vikings. Stop being a bitch. I love it.
A whiny bitch, like Cody Rhodes says.
Yes. We don't need no Garrett Bradbury getting tossed around by defensive tackles anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think he was whiny. He was just a chew toy.
He was getting thrown around.
He was Lloyd video. Christmas in the stall in Dumb and Dumber.
There's video of him going airborne. And he was over 300 pounds.
Should have been a statue.
But it was because he had bad footing. He wasn't ready. It's like,
and Ingram's feet, they're huge.
Yeah.
We would have been back in the same spot in November, just like, why is he still on the team? And then, March comes around like, who are you going to get? Ryan Kelly, who, I don't know. I still wonder if they just like threw him out like Jazz in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or like they just turned on the fan and he flew out. No.
Hey, but the Patriots think they landed like a great replacement for the guy they released, David.
He rode the breeze all the way to Foxborough.
He is actually a better fit for the Patriots. If they run the offenses that Mike Vrabel liked to run when he was in Tennessee, because they run the ball a whole lot more.
That is true.
But sorry, Drake May, he's not gonna be able to block anybody, so you don't get killed. So sorry.
I just saw you have a heart out, so I'm gonna go to the last topic right now.
Yeah, sorry.
Because the Kirk Cousins drama is officially cinema, as the kids say.
Legit, literally.
Absolute cinema.
Yeah.
Cinema. Kirk Cousins will be featured on the second season of Quarterback on Netflix. Cousins will star with fellow signal callers Joe Burrow and Jared Goff. It's the second time he's been on Quarterback after appearing in the 2023 season. That show may have played a large role in the Falcons giving him a lot of money and the contract they're now trying to get rid of. Actually, Falcons did pick up a $10 million roster bonus for Kirk Cousins for 2026.
Yeah,
Nobody reported that part. By the way, and just want to point that out, they're still desperate to trade him. So good luck. Kirk Cousins, quarterback round 2. I'm interested.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be watching. It's funny though that like after that first quarterback series came out, all the stuff was like everyone keeps shooting it down. They didn't want to sign up for like the next season or whatever. So that's why they did receiver. And now here's Kirk Cousins like, hey, I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
How fast do you think he called NFL Films after they took Michael Penix?
Right.
Like,
get Netflix on the phone. Come on, let's go.
Do they want to do quarterback again?
Yeah,
okay.
But we will get this. We might get to see, how the ending went between the Vikings and Falcons. Like maybe some of those negotiations. Will we get to see, Kirk Cousins' agent at the combine negotiating with the Falcons too early? And
get those cameras out of here.
We'll get to see his reaction to getting benched. What sort of excuse he comes up with. I probably should have said I was more hurt, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's a PR vehicle right now for Kirk Cousins to get back in the good graces of all the NFL teams and be like, oh yeah, this guy's good. We'll trade for him. So an ideal scenario, he would probably like to wait to be traded until like after this comes out. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I think probably after the draft, he'll probably maybe after June 1st. I think that it might be more ideal for the Falcons to wait until then. But and then the Jared Goff stuff, like the Lions lost in the first round or their first matchup of the playoffs, so that'll be interesting to see like his disappointment. And Joe Burrow, like I watched a little bit of the Hard Knocks, like the in-season AFC North, and I was just like, whatever, like he's all right, he's fine.
Yeah, it's like the trailer. Kirk
Didn't
didn't
he have the burglaries though? Maybe they'll explore that aspect of that though.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I'm like, yes, he got robbed. Let's see what happened.
What the fuck is my stuff? Oh, that's awful. But I mean, the trailer, it was like Kirk was the only one comfortable talking. He's like, "You guys right?" Yeah.
Yeah, like, Kirk's a natural. He's like, I got this. I know what I'm doing.
Are they going to have Jared Goff try and recite what side of the world the sun comes up on?
Yeah, right.
Because he didn't know that when he got drafted. I have a list here. I said, how did Kirk acclimate to Atlanta? How bad was it? We saw a whole bunch of body work in the first one. Did he do any of that? In quarterback?
Do his kids hate school in Atlanta?
Yeah, exactly. Kirk going into the principal's office, like, I got a negotiation for you. Oh shit, we'll give you whatever you want. Just leave us alone.
Wasn't there like an anonymous thing or whatever, the Purple Daily or whatever, where like some guy saw Kirk at like some speaking engagement or whatever, and he was saying how like his wife misses Minnesota and his kids miss Minnesota. Yeah, that's going to be a topic this offseason for sure.
There was also the clerical error situation.
Yeah.
that I'm interested. Like the Falcons could be caught in 4K again.
Right?
His return to Minnesota would be interesting. Watching Sam Darnold just flame him.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And what was his relationship with Michael Penix Jr. like? Like, what was his reaction to being benched? I know, like Marcus Mariota, he just disappeared when he, quit the team basically at the end of the first quarterback. But we'll see what's going on there. So
I feel like he's going to definitely do like a season 3 of this too. Like,
yeah,
my final year, just Kirk Cousins.
Aaron Rodgers has a documentary.
The non-enigma.
Kirk Cousins. What's the opposite of charismatic? Charismatic, the
milquetoast.
The milquetoast enigma. There you go. Very quickly.
White bread, Kirk. No, yeah.
Yes, very quickly. What is going on at the Viking Age?
Oh, we're just trying to keep up with everything happening free agency. And then pretty soon get right into the draft. The Vikings still only have 4 picks. I'm curious to see if that changes before the draft. Sometimes they like to make some moves before. But yeah, we don't have, there might be sprinkles here and there, but the focus isn't going to be on riding on Aaron Rodgers anymore. I feel like, hopefully, we can focus more on JJ McCarthy and him being the future. It was just, it was one less. It was always so silly. Like the Vikings are spending all this money in free agency, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're going to sign Aaron Rodgers for what? What's he going to play for? $10 million? No, come on."
Said he wanted a Sam Darnold salary.
Yeah, get out of here. Okay.
We're gonna let the 27-year-old go for that salary, but we're gonna sign the washed 41-year-old.
Yeah, they were gonna pay Daniel Jones $20 million, but they're gonna pay Aaron Rodgers $10. Okay.
Do you think when we wake up on Thursday morning, we will see a report from the Athletic saying it's not dead yet?
They've already been doing that. They did immediately. Diana Racine. They're still strong. They were strongly considered. Well, did you? I think I actually tuned into Paul Allen's show because he had Alec Lewis on, and Alec Lewis was like, "Well, I only report the truth," and Paul Allen was like, "Well, I'm telling you, your truth is wrong and mine is right." So there's that. And I was like, "Oh boy." But yeah, that's over. But there's a lot more fun stuff. We'll probably dive in deeper to the Rondale Moore stuff tomorrow and later on. But there seems to be a lot of action going on with the Vikings this offseason as usual. So check out thevikingage.com for all the latest.
And if you're interested in looking at what else is going on in the NFC North, I write for the fan-sided regional betting network. Finally confirmed what the B means. I write about the Lions, Packers, and the Bears over there, so you can catch up on them.
Oh my.
Lions, Packers, and Bears. Oh my. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my. My Viking stuff, of course, is at Zone Coverage. I wrote about Jordan Mason being the running back of Kevin O'Connell's dreams, so you can go check that out. But of course, you are watching the Viking Age podcast. I am Chris Schad at The Real Chris Schad. He is Adam Patrick at Adam Patrick NFL. We do this every week right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. We can spread the word to the masses. For Adam Patrick, I am Chris Schad. This has been the Viking Age podcast.